Welcome to the InFlow Podcast. I am your host, Michelle Bosch. I see a gaping hole across society that focuses on the outer work and forgets about the inner work, when what we really need is to bridge the gap between prosperity and spirituality to live a life in flow, with inflows of light, inflows of cash, inflows of creativity, inflows of grace in our lives. Each week, join me for powerful messages and interviews that will leave you inspired and ready to step into flow in your higher work. So now, let's go. Welcome to another episode of the show. I'm your host, Michelle Bosch. Excited to be with you guys today. And today's discussion, I would like to say, is my sharing for today, let's put it that way, is about three powers. And I want to directly address, a lot of the women in our community, in our environment, in our ecosystem that, listen to the show, listen to the podcast, that follow us, that are absolute incredible land warriors. And they just happen to be, women that happen to be ladies. And I want to talk about the triple power of presence, of voice, and of position. I've had, the opportunity and really the privilege of being mentored by a lot of people. People always ask me, what's the best investment that you've ever made, Michelle? What's the best deal that you've had out there? And we've had the privilege, to really have in different asset classes, in land, in houses, in large multifamily, the privilege of having some amazing deals with amazing returns. But the one investment that has always paid in spades and where the returns have been really infinite has been investing in myself, has been investing in mentorship. It has been also investing in the women in our team, in our companies, and outside of our companies as well, to help them grow and to help them really thrive to their true potential. And nothing brings me more joy than, doing that for women. And what I have found is that as many mentors as I've had, both men and female, the female ones, the ladies have really given me a very unique type of medicine that comes in the form of those three powers. And let's talk a little bit about those three powers. So the very first power is the power of presence. And what I mean by that is that a lot of the women coaches that I've had in my life have really told me to really lean in, to really tune in to my intuition, to finding that little voice, inside, or those whispers that if we just follow them, that inner guidance, that inner compass, that inner compass is going to show us our true north. That inner compass already knows, what we are craving for, already knows what we're destined for, already knows what we really want out of life. And that sometimes we, tend to either overlook or forget or not notice or override because, the thoughts of doubt, of confusion, of overwhelm, from having busy lives really clutter, your space and you're not able to listen to that inner compass. And that inner compass, like I said, is really your true north, the one thing that you should be listening to all the time, and being able to distinguish between, that true north and possibly another little nagging voice that I like to call your itty bitty shitty committee, and being able to notice, which one is which. And in order to notice that, you have to be present. You have to sometimes be still. You have to find moments or gaps, and really tune in and lean into that because they're so important. Part of that presence has also been, from my female mentors, has been really showing up, and by showing up, I mean showing up 1000%. Whether you feel like it or not, sometimes we don't feel like doing things, but we need to show up for them anyways. We're showing up for ourselves. We're showing up for others, and how important it is to show up. And when I talk about presence also, I'm also talking about showing up not just for the good things, but showing up also for the not so good things, for the challenges, for the chaos, for the messiness, that sometimes comes in the middle of us going towards a goal, to embrace those challenges, to rise up to those challenges. And that's all part of what I mean when I say, that powerful medicine of presence, the very first power that I'm talking about. The second power that these women, mentors have really allowed me to grow and expand on, and really even revel in it, because at some point in my life I was fearful to speak up, and that is voice. How important our voices are, how important it is to really not just use our voice, because of the fear of becoming irrelevant, or to get another person's approval or acceptance, but using our voice for the things that matter, for our visions, for our convictions, for the things that we're passionate and on fire about. We need to use our voices, even if they shake a little bit in the beginning, because we're not used to, because we have not exercised that muscle. It is imperative that we speak up and that we use our voices as women. So that's, the second power. That power, in my opinion, is part of that secret to prosperity. Because, why am I saying that? Because there's going to be, for example, in the real estate world, in the investing world, situations where if we don't speak up, if we don't pick up the phone to call a seller, if we don't pick up the phone to talk to a buyer, deals are not going to get closed. Opportunities are not gonna, come to fruition. And so using our voice, it's almost like that catalyst that makes that vision and those dreams and that hard work, the doing activity, come to fruition. Our voices are the ones that will either magnetize, a client, a buyer, a seller, or repel them. And we need to use them up, even if at the beginning, like I say, our voices might shake, when we get on the phone with a seller, or our voices might shake when we get on the phone with a buyer and we need to renegotiate, or we need to, actually ask for the sale and ask for the money to be direct, sent to escrow, sent to title company, and so on and so forth. And just getting what we need and what we deserve, and with that, it comes with us being able to use our voice, definitely use our voice. So that's power number 2. Power number 3 that I've learned from, a lot of my female mentors, has been, the power of position. For us as women, in the past, whenever we would, and I'm talking like way in the past, if we expressed where we stood, what our opinions were, and what we stood for, and our convictions, some women in the past have been burned at the stake for those. But how important it is to have a position, to have, for people to know what you stand for and what you stand against. And in doing so, really changing and being an agent for change, in whatever it is, our industry. If we see that there's something wrong in our industry, not just having the opinion, but doing something about it, taking a stance, taking a position, and finding the solution so that we can make our industry better, or the experience that people have of real estate investors, turn that around, that we're not, greedy, ambitious people, that there is a good level of dose of ambition, that we all are looking, for growth, but we're also looking to serve, and we're also there to connect with the human and be of service to them, whether they be a seller or they be a buyer. And so on. For example, I'm a big believer that, there is something broken in the real estate education space when everyone is looking for, when they offer a service of coaching, when everyone is looking for, how can I get the most out of someone while giving the least, that there is something wrong with that, with that way of thinking, and that I want to actually put that on its head and actually be the opposite of that and stand for something that is completely different, that is completely unconventional, which is, how can I, with the least possible, be able to offer the most, And so, taking a position is important. And taking that position will sometimes mean that you will have to break things, break things, you're going to have to challenge the status quo, and that it's okay to challenge it, and that it's okay to bring new solutions to the marketplace, new ways of being, new ways of doing things. And and that is immensely powerful for the evolution, not just of our own little, micro environment and our own little business, but for the evolution of an entire industry, of an entire society, and so on and so forth. So those are the three powers that I wanted to really talk to you guys about, today, that have been incredibly instrumental, that have been a medicine that, my male coaches, because I think men are much more from a very early on encouraged to take up space, to use their voice, to take a position, to take a stand, that they overlook that when they're mentoring, other women. And that when I've had the privilege of being mentored by women, they have made an emphasis on those three powers, that I think are crucial for us to, become really, not just warriors in our land investing businesses, successful investors, amazing mothers, real agents for change when it comes to, our families and our family trees, but real visionaries. Yeah. And so I hope this was, of service to you. If this resonates, if you're looking to step into those three powers, and you're trying to figure out, well, where do I even find an environment where I can be nurtured, where I can be, uplifted and held to a higher standard? If you're looking for such an environment, we're actually having a 5-day Land Profit Masterclass that is starting on March 21st. I would like to invite you to join us on that free masterclass. It starts like I said, March 21st through the 25th. And you could go to landprofitmaster.com, www.landprofitmaster, and join us there. Put yourself in an environment. If you've already been part of this community and you know that you're ready to be uplifted, that you would love to have another, female, another woman, if you're a lady right now listening to this, really, hold you up to a different standard, teach you, walk you through all the ins and outs of land investing, from that perspective of a lady that knows that you're juggling, kids, that you're juggling, preparing meals, doing laundry, bringing the kids to school and back, and so on and so forth. And you want to basically be coached by a woman. I am very proud to say that, we are a company that, really, is a champion for women, and, have many female coaches inside of our, of our team that are ready, to bring you to that next level. So if you're looking for coaching, again, you could go to landcoaching.com. That is www.landcoaching.com, and really schedule a call with one person, somebody in our team, to see if we're a good fit for you at this point in your life, in your investing career. And if you just want to come and join us for the free masterclass, of course, you're more than welcome. That was landprofitmaster.com. And with that, thank you so much for really allowing me to come into your space and talk about those three things that are, topics that are not necessarily always discussed, especially if you've been mentored in the past by amazing men that are champions for women, but that don't notice that we need a little extra, push when it comes to using our presence and really tuning into that intuition and inner guidance, using our voice and really taking a stand in a position in our families, in our financial matters, in our relationships, and how we conduct business, in our team in terms of the values that we stand for, and so on and so forth. So thank you so much for letting me into your space, and until the next one.
I hope this episode left you feeling inspired and ready to get inflows of cash, inflows of light, and inflows of faith in your life. I welcome your reviews on iTunes. Please leave me a review and help me create an amazing community of women in flow. Thank you, as always, for sharing your voice by going to michellebosch.com and joining the conversation about this show. And while you're there, grab a copy of my 10 Commandments to Living a Life in Flow. You can also follow me on Facebook at Michelle Bosch and on Instagram at Michelle Bosch Official. Thank you very much, and until the next one.